Hello, everybody. Welcome to JBS Presents the Thank You Classic 2022 Schedule Reveal. This is Mike Olshin along with Bill Gore, bringing you throughout the day here all of the action on the Thank You Classic. The schedule from April 29th to May 1st, we got 46 games over 3 days, 92 teams representing 3 states and most of the top players in the state of New Jersey. Thank you, Bill. Happy Thanksgiving, and let's just kind of talk about how this all came together this year and how we got so many teams involved.
Happy Thanksgiving to you too. So we had last year, we had the 56 teams.
That wasn't enough.
That wasn't enough. Nah. Some more teams from up north heard about it, got interested, and we had to deal with, some logistics of, busing and stuff like that. So they all wanted to stay, a little more closer to home. And, luckily enough, I had a couple of people who volunteered to host some of the games and whatnot. And I think we're going to end up having a couple of games at one of the 2 teams who are playing in the games fields when we get all to it. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun couple of days. Friday's a little light. Sunday's a doozy with some big games. And then Saturday, I don't know how I'm going to have that many umpires, but that's what I was promised.
That's right. Or be in that many places at one time.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to handle that.
34 games scheduled for Saturday. We'll get all to it shortly. What was the biggest? How did the matchups take place? How did we? You got 92 teams. How did we come up with all these matchups?
So, for the most part, a lot of them are just talking to some people, trying to get games that are like going to be competitive, going to be, games worth watching. And that's where, I'm lucky enough to be pretty friendly with JT Kroeger, who, we're going to talk to later. And he and I spoke, pretty regularly about those matchups. But then we have some games that are actually going to end up being rematches of last year. And then there are just ones who, like, for example, are going to be matchups of coaches coaching against former players and or coaches, coaching with each other. Absolutely.
We got a couple of those we're looking forward to reviewing later.
Yep.
Sunday's matchups, especially up in Woodridge, that's just a great celebration of some of the amazing talent in New Jersey, and we'll get to that. Did that kind of go into let's create a couple of crazy games there like that?
Yeah. When we get John on, he'll be able to go a little more elaborate, but you're gonna have you got some people at those games.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Not just college guys either. We get some.
No, definitely gonna have some pro guys.
So let's just kind of summarize again real quick. I know we did the show a couple months ago. Thank You Classic, really quick version of how we got that started and
Sure.
What it means to be able to do this again for the first responders in the communities.
Right. So way back in May of 2020, this dog. May of 2020, we're all in lockdown, quarantine, all that good stuff. And I was really thinking about doing something anyway, because I'm sure I don't need to mention his name, but, some stuff happened down here that kind of was a little close to home. And I was thinking about going in that route, but then, 2 weeks becomes 4 weeks, becomes 6 weeks, and all that stuff. And then you see how serious it was getting, and how much it was affecting, people who are, nurses, doctors, other people who are first responders. So I'm thinking about it, and, you get to a point where, hey, it's a big deal to get the first responders to, honor them. And then, of course, being in a school like I am and dealing with Zoom, and Google Meets and all that other good stuff. A teacher needs to be recognized for what they did throughout this whole time, teaching on this, on these types of platforms. And so we got to a point where we were able to put this together, and we said, every game, let's honor a teacher, staff member, whoever, along with a first responder. And, last year's went fairly well. And a couple places, they even went beyond that and had like little parades and things like that. And it was cool. I mean, it's really neat to see and to get the response of, we need to keep doing this. We're just going to make it grow bigger and bigger. And I'm like, okay, we'll get it done. So I mean, when we got started planning this year, of course, I respect, the mainland guys and their Coaches versus Cancer and all that. So I was like, I told him when I first started doing this, I was like, listen, you tell me where you're going, I'm staying away from you. We're going to make it work where you guys get your guys and we're going to get what we can. And, he's going early this year, and I'm going to go right before we really get started into like the Diamond Classic and everything like that. So it's a good relationship to have. And, like I said, having been around a little while now, you get to know some people, and the tree just keeps growing of getting to know New Jersey baseball people, and now even further. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but got a couple of doozies from over in Pennsylvania and a Delaware school involved this year.
Right. That's right. So after the break, we will be back with, now that we know how everything kind of came into place this year, we'll be back with the 4 Friday matchups. You are watching the JBS tournament, or the JBS selection reveal show on for the Thank You Classic 2022. It's Mike Olshin along with Bill Gore. We'll be back on the other side with Friday's games.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Welcome back, everyone, to the JBS Presents the Thank You Classic Selection Reveal Show. We are taking a look at Friday's games. This is Friday, April 29th. All games beginning at 7 p.m. First, over at South Delsea Drive, we've got Gloucester High School against Glassboro High School in a great South Jersey matchup, again starting at 7. At Alcyon Park, we've got Collingswood High School taking on Pitman High, and we will be joined shortly by Pitman's head coach, John Hopley, along with Rancocas Valley head coach, Dan Haverstick. You see Rancocas Valley is in the next game over at Walton-Nagorski Field against St. Augustine. It's a great matchup, RV, with Tim Hartman, one of the better pitchers in the area. St. Augustine with a fantastic loaded team set for trying to finish off and compete and win a loaded non-public A bracket. Ryan Wiegartner, Ryan Taylor, and so many other fantastic players for St. Augustine. And then at Rutgers Camden, we've got the backyard brawl, Lenape versus Cherokee. We've got Lenape with Chase Topolsky, one of our Generation Next features. Chase going to Richmond, Max D'Alessandro going to FDU. A couple of FDU guys on Cherokee in Shane Sachs, Jeremy Cheeseman, and Tom Patrizzi going to Lehigh, one of the better middle infielders in the state. So great matchup between Lenape and Cherokee, teams that know each other very well. Should be a great Friday as we kick off the 2022 Thank You Classic. And we are joined here on the selection reveal show by a couple of our coaches who are playing on Friday, whose teams are playing on Friday night. We have John Hopley from Pitman High School. Pitman will be playing Collingswood over at Alcyon Park at the 7 o'clock on Friday. And Dan Haverstick from Rancocas Valley. RV has one of the other big games on Friday night at Walton-Nagorski Field against St. Augustine. Draws one of the top programs, one of the top teams in the state. And gentlemen, first of all, happy Thanksgiving and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
John, let's start with you here. Just tell us briefly what it means to participate in something like this. Not just your regular high school game weekend, something with a little bigger purpose to it. what it means for Pitman baseball to be part of it. And then Dan will ask you the same question.
Yeah, listen, when we first heard about the Thank You Classic, we were jumped to the opportunity to play. The event last year was phenomenal. It was a great turnout. It's a wonderful opportunity to acknowledge, those first responders and even some of those in the education field. Again, and to highlight baseball all across South Jersey. So it was a wonderful event. Bill Gore did a great job with this.
Yep. Dan?
Yeah, no, when Bill approached me as well, I jumped on it right away, especially knowing firsthand. I have a sister who spent all of COVID as a nurse. She's now traveling across all over the country. So I've seen many, stories from her. I've heard many stories from her. And it was, an opportunity that we couldn't pass up. And it just shows our kids in our program that there's more to life than baseball. And it's about giving back and just showing opportunities to just, give back to those that are helping everyone else, and, the education people we honor, allow us to get out there and play every single day, which, that's ultimately what we want.
For sure. Now, both of you guys are, again, expecting strong programs, strong teams again in 2022. So we'll give you guys a second here. We'll start with Dan this time, just to talk about your team, some of the big guys returning, and then also, your matchup against St. Augustine and Collingswood in that game.
Yeah, so we graduated 14. So it's going to be a little bit of a rebuilding process in the beginning, but I don't expect that to inhibit us from reaching our goals throughout the course of the year. We returned one of the best pitchers in the area, Timmy Hartman, who was first team all conference for us last year. He just committed to Clarion University, a Division II program. In the PSAC. So hopefully we'll be able to ride him throughout the course of the season. We returned one of our catchers, Braden Schoonmaker, who's going to be a rock behind the dish for us. And then a lot of other arms coming up that I expect big seasons: Joey Deneen, Mike Stepik, Graham Adams, Michael Nunez. We just, are hoping to reload and just continue and build off the season that we had last year in my first year with the program. So that's ultimately what we want. And, going up against a powerhouse in New Jersey like St. Augustine, it's a great opportunity for our kids to see where we want to get to. And, it's just going to be a great game all in all.
Got to accelerate the learning curve, I guess, right? Playing teams like that earlier in the year.
Yeah, gets us tough.
John Pitman, again, one of the better, smaller Group 1 programs in South Jersey and in New Jersey. And how do we keep the tradition alive this year?
Yeah, same. We graduated 3 seniors last year that were big contributors to our program. We're not fortunate enough to have a lot of depth. So, our dugout usually has 11 guys total. So we're leaning on a lot of guys that play a lot of positions. But this year we're returning 6 starters, and our lineup's going to be pretty decent. We're returning Billy Keene as a pitcher. He was all conference first team. A catcher who's fantastic, Aiden Ewey, all conference first team. And then we have a bunch of young guys. We have Braden Sharkey and Connor Sharkey, who are sophomores who started just about every game for us in the outfield. We also have Stephen Devaney, who was our number 2 as a freshman, performed very well. And then we have Dion D'Amico, a senior, who just quarterbacks our outfield and then, is wonderful in the leadoff spot. So our expectations are very high. Our schedule is going to be pretty tough compared to last year. We're trying to invite some top-notch teams to our field and see where we are. Same thing with, Rancocas Valley. We're trying to see where we are going forward, and hopefully we can make a deeper push in this Group 1 tournament.
Absolutely. So we got Pitman at Alcyon Park against Collingswood on Friday. We've got RV at Walton Nagorski against St. Augustine. Gentlemen, thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy Thanksgiving weekend to join us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Mike.
Absolutely. After the break, Bill Gore, John Kroeger, and myself will go into Saturday's schedule. We've got 34 games Saturday. It might take a while. We're watching the selection reveal show for the Thank You Classic. Again, this is Mike Olshin. We'll see you right after the break.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to
And we are back here on this edition of JBS, our tournament or selection reveal show for the 2022 Thank You Classic. We are joined by Bill Gore, who is one of the tournament the Thank You Classic founders. Also, JT Kroeger, our special guest, our New Jersey baseball guru, Cincinnati Red Scout, somebody who's known his way around New Jersey baseball for years. We're going to break down the games here on Saturday first. We've got 34 games. We'll go through the schedule and hear from both Bill and John, at each site, what their thoughts are, and let's keep it rolling here. And so what we will do is begin with Saturday's games at the MAC. And we start out with a great matchup, Timber Creek versus Shallock High School at 10 o'clock. Jared Pekrosky, one of the top high school hitters in the state for Shallock. Woodstown and Delsey at 1 o'clock. And Paulsboro versus Pennsville at 4 p.m. Gentlemen, anything you see there that gets your attention?
I guess I'll start first. I mean, last year, the Delsey game, with Joe Smith taking over that program, has a lot of young kids coming back. I know speaking with him, he's so excited that would be a nice game for him. And I think that's a team in Group 3 that people got to watch. Bill from down in South Jersey knows those teams pretty well. But that team right there, Delsey, should be fun to watch this year. Bill? You have anything?
Yeah. If you like South Jersey Group 1 baseball, this is the place to be. Between Shallock, Woodstown, Pennsville, and Paulsboro.
Coach Marcucci
these are
said
the
he's doing all the scouting for the season.
Yeah. If you're a Group 1 coach, that's where you want to be at.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Holy Spirit, Vineland versus Triton at 11 o'clock. We've got Ocean Township versus Holy Spirit at 2. Holy Spirit's big gun Trevor Cohen going to Rutgers, one of the top athletes in the state. Certainly a crazy good football player as well, but he's putting those spikes away, and Coach Owens is very excited. Gentlemen, anything at Holy Spirit that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think, speaking with Steve Normain, he lost a lot of key players, but, again, with Trevor back and a couple other players, they'll compete in parochial B. I don't know if they're as good as Gloucester Catholic and St. Joe's of Hammonton, but they're going to be a strong team this year.
Absolutely. Caven Point, Westfield versus St. Peter's Prep, 11 o'clock. Edison and Ferris at 2 o'clock. Newton versus Caldwell at 5. John, we're going to start with you, Mr. North Jersey, especially. What do we got to look for? Some of us guys who don't get up there as often.
The game that hits me in the face the most is Edison and Ferris. People don't know Edison is going to be a top 20 team preseason. Backlog top 20 team. So is Ferris. Ferris has everybody back this year. Jacob Ruiz and Danny Furcal, and their outstanding center fielder, Damon Ponce. Very good player. Edison's very young. Charlie Todd, who committed to Maine, and that Jackson Appleman is only a sophomore. He only got several innings last year, but he's put himself on the map. But that is the matchup that hits me the best. And I think Edison will be going for a middle. I think them versus St. Joe's coming down at the end. That's a game that's going to help them maybe compete with St. Joe's and Metuchen for the Middlesex County Championship. So
down at Gateway, we got Cumberland and Gateway at 1. We've got Hammonton and Brick Township playing at 4. We were going to go to Bill, but I think Bill is on some dog duty right now to try to get the pack. Oh, there he is. We got Bill's mobile here. Bill, what can you tell us about some of those South Jersey teams?
Which place are we at?
We're at Gateway.
The Hammonton Brick Township game. Hammonton Brick Township hits me in the face. That should be a decent game.
Yeah.
I like that game. Yep.
Hammonton's supposed to be a team to watch in Group 3 from what I hear and what I've seen, in the travel ball world. Hammonton's got some talented players coming up.
Good
And then,
sophomore. It's Lucas Carrera, their pitcher. I like Lucas. He's gonna do all right this year, and he's gonna put himself on the map in Brick Township. That's a great matchup. I think that's a great game, and Brick Township probably throw Matt Kunzman or and I know they were a 500 team last year, and they lose some key players, but they also have some good young players. That should be a really good matchup. That's a great game.
Site two, the to be determined site games on here, Union and Old Bridge. Old Bridge with Virginia Tech verbal Justin Herbstman, thrown in a gratuitous plug to our future JBS Generation Next series. Justin will be on with us. Roxbury, always a great program versus Manchester Township. We got Logan Duffy there going to Old Dominion. We got Morristown High School and Bayonne. Anything in those TBD games, John?
Yeah, the Union Old Bridge game is definitely going to be a pitcher's battle. It's probably going to be lefty versus lefty. The Union has two lefties, and like you said, Herbstman. That should be a 1-0, 2-1 game. Both teams don't really hit, but they both pitch like hell. And you're going to see both those teams definitely at the end of the year, 15, 16 wins, both teams.
Some big guns here on the next page. We got 4 sites, a couple of TBD games in Montgomery and Pascack Hills and Ramapo versus DePaul. But let's look at the games at Hammonton Lake Park. It's a great triple header. 12 o'clock noon starting Williamstown versus Jackson. Middletown South versus Egg Harbor Township is another one of those wow matchups at 3. And we finished with Haddonfield versus St. Joe's at Hammonton. Only 2 Mercados this year, not 3. But it's a 7 o'clock. That's a 7 o'clocker.
That might be the best place to be, in my opinion. Williamstown, Jackson. You got Montone versus Zach Crotchfeld. That would be an outstanding game. Then you got the Middletown South, who returns a lot of guys, but they lost some key guys. They Group 4 finalists, state champs, going against Justin Sweeney and again all-state pitcher Ben Shield. Woo! The heat going on in that game. Justin Sweeney's been up to 93 and Shields 91, 92, and didn't lose last year. I think that's where I'll be that day.
Yeah. At Joe Barth Field, we've got I'll tell you what, that's not so bad either. We got Morristown High School and Bonner Prendergast from over in the Catholic League at 1. Got you want some heat? We got Tommy Finnegan and Duke McCarran with Ocean City against Ranny at 4. Another Ranny is one of the could be the non-public B state champs this year. Wouldn't really surprise anyone. No. Right, Bill?
Nah, got to see them firsthand last year, and they were as good as advertised. Got very.
Which team you talking about? Bill, what team you talking about?
Rainy.
Rainy. Yeah, Rainy. Rainy had 7 D1 players. No one, I've been telling people about Rainy, and they're not happy about a couple things. But you listen. The bottom line is Rainy Prep is going to be real good. Their pitching staff, Pat Gironi does a really good job. I think Rainy Prep has a chance to win 20 plus games and a state title. That's me. They may be the best talented team in the Shore area.
So that's 2 votes for Rainy winning a non-public B, but 1 strong no.
Oh, I didn't say they were going to win it. I said they got a chance.
1 strong no from Bill Gore saying they've got no shot, and the Gloucester Catholic is winning no problem. Bordentown High School, we got a couple of big ones there. Colts Neck and Robbinsville, 4 o'clock. Luke Billings of 2024 at Robbinsville already going there verbal to Wake Forest. Point Pleasant Borough versus Bordentown at 7.
Colts Neck and Robbinsville's that a real good game. The kid going to Army, Kratzler. I saw him last year. Great. He moves really fast on the mound. I mean, he gets the ball and throws. And I've seen him in the upper 80s. I talked to Jimmy Foster at Army, and they're in love with him. He's going to West Point, really good student. And like you said, Billings, that should be another great matchup. And Colts Neck ended up going to the sectional finals last year. And they have a really good catcher in Joe Celia, lefty stick, who just recently committed. So that should be a real good matchup.
Audubon High School, the final games on this page here. We got Salem versus St. Thomas Aquinas at 12. And Paul VI versus Audubon at 3. We've got a couple of big names in that Paul VI and Audubon game. Paul VI with Ormsby, right, going to Virginia. Michael Lucarelli, younger, 2023, already verbal to Tulane. And Coach Owens might be down and watching Audubon with a couple of his signees, Isaiah Pickney and Xavier Massey.
Yeah.
And we conclude Saturday's matchups here. We've got another 4 sites. We'll start with South Delsea Drive, Cinnaminson and Manasquan at 4, Nottingham and Overbrook at 7, and Alcyon Park, Kingsway versus Bishop Eustace. I think that's another one of those wow games at 4, Highland versus Haddon Township at 7, and Veterans Park Brick Memorial versus Hamilton at 7. Any of those games jump out at you, John?
Well, the Kingsway Eustace game, of course. I mean, it all varies what Bill Alvaro does. Is he going to throw Landon Edwards against Matt Augustine? That's the prime time matchup, and I know Bill will do that because that's what he does. In the big games, he's going to throw his guy. And I mean, Eustace lost a lot of guys, but let's be real. Come on, they're going to be strong again. They had a great sophomore class with Augustine and Oveka and to me, Gialucci from St. Joe's and Metuchen and Pizzicreta from Eustis, the catchers, and the catcher from Mountain Lakes, Devin Russell. Eustis is going to be real good again. They're, maybe not like 21-1 like last year, but they hit the 20th win on their last game. That's going to be good.
Walton Nagorski Field, ACIT Cape May Tech at 10, Long Branch and Camden at 1, Pope John, Connor Grogihan going to Rhode Island against an awful strong team from Philly, traditional power, Malvern Prep.
Yeah, Malvern last year didn't have the year. I believe they were 10-10, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't have the team they normally have. But I mean, on a regular, they're always one of the top teams in the East Coast. And Vinny Bella left Pope John. And like you said, Grogihan, I got to see him pitch a little bit in the summertime, big 6'6.5", right-hander, and he can hit too. They got a couple transfers in, new coach though. They'll be strong, Pope John, but let's just see where they go. I don't know if they're going to be as good. They might be a year away, but they also lost a couple kids that might really hurt the program.
And we saved this one separate for you, Bill. The 7 o'clock game at Nagorski, we call it the Scans Bowl or whatever you want to call it. Holy Cross versus King's Christian. We got King's Christian, obviously coached by John Scanzano, and Holy Cross in his first year is Scan's disciple, Dewey Orienti, who's obviously had a great run on his own as a player and a coach. And I'll throw in the South Jersey Kings reference again now to the free gratuitous plug again for me. But did that maybe go into your thinking a little bit there?
100%. When Dewey got the job, he specifically asked, he said, I went into this and I want to play King's Christian. And I was like, by all means. I said 7 o'clock at Nagorski. And he's like, done deal. I was like, all right.
Dewey was coaching at King's Christian last year, right? Yeah.
He was.
Good coach. Really good coach.
Absolutely. And then Clearview Regional, we finish it out with Northern Burlington and Clearview, and that's a chance to, Northern Burlington. Drew Wires, I think, is underrated a little bit on your state rankings, but he might have as much power as anybody in the state.
Yeah, he was amazing last year. I know Drew pretty well, and what a nice kid. And, he had phenomenal year. He made all state, second team or first team, I can't remember. And Clearview lost a lot. Clearview's gonna, they're gonna have to rebuild a little bit. I mean, Michael Flax has been looking pretty good with a lot of colleges. He's been swinging the bat good at some of the showcases. But Clearview is a big school that they should be able to rebuild quick.
So that's it for Saturday's matchups. That's a crazy day in itself, but we will bring the crew back here in a little bit and talk about what we have in store for Sunday, which is not quite the volume, at least number of games, but the volume as far as quality of games. That's going to be it's going to be something to see. Again, you're watching the Thank You Classic Reveal Show on JBS. And we are here now with a couple of our coaches that are playing in the Saturday games. Playing over at the MAC is John Marcucci from Paulsboro. Paulsboro taking on Pennsville in a tough small school South Jersey matchup. Traditionally good programs, and we've got the non-public schools represented here as well, with St. Joe's Hammonton, St. Joseph's Academy of Hammonton, a tough matchup against another traditionally strong program in Haddonfield. That game's going to be over at Hammonton Lake Park. It's the showcase game there. That's Saturday, April 30th at 7 p.m. Gentlemen, welcome first of all. Thank you for taking a few moments out of your busy holiday weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Mike.
Absolutely. Nick, we'll start with you on the first question here. Just tell us about what it means to participate in the Thank You Classic. Bill does an amazing job with this. We're almost at 100 teams. We're at almost 50 matchups over the weekend. So many great players, but obviously also the cause here that the recognition that we're giving people who deserve it.
Yeah, no, Billy's done a great job with the event. Billy does so much for South Jersey baseball. He has been for a while. I've known Billy for a while. He was an assistant coach when I was at Gloucester Catholic as a player. But this is a great event he's put together, and the way it's grown from year one to year two. It's definitely a nice way to honor all the hardworking people in schools, healthcare professionals. He does a great job with it, and it looks like it's something that's going to be around for a while and to be a fun event that we could do on a yearly basis. And we're looking forward to hosting this year, which was nice. Billy reached out if we wanted to host. We're really excited. We have really three great matchups at the lake this year. We're playing Haddonfield, as you mentioned. Egg Harbor is coming to play Middletown South, a great school from Central Jersey. And then the early game, Williamstown Jackson, that's going to be a great one, a rematch from the Group 4 playoffs last year. So we're excited to host. We can't thank Billy enough for all that he's done for this event in South Jersey baseball, really.
John, with Paulsboro, again, got to be the same excitement for participating here.
Absolutely. It's always good to obviously play good baseball, but it's deeper than that. It's bigger than that. I mean, the last 18 months, 24 months, these kids have lost a lot with the pandemic, and the frontline workers that have kept working through all this, have obviously been heroes. And it's nice to be able to honor. I know last year our two honorees were two police officers, and we'll obviously have some people this year that we're going to honor, but to be able to give back and to recognize these people for their efforts is always special. And again, it's bigger than baseball. I mean, obviously with the baseball aspect of it, it's a great opportunity to go out and play a game. In our case, we're going to go and play Pennsville, which is great. It's what we want. We went out and we wanted to get more competitive games on our schedule. And Pennsville was, he said, "Hey, you want to play Pennsville?" I said, "Absolutely, let's play Pennsville." And then in a typical Billy move, he's like, "Listen, you want to scout that day there? It's all Group 1. You have Pennsville's there, Shallock's there, and he said Woodstown's there." He's like, "They're all there at the same day, so we'll be at the MAC." I coach over at the MAC, so it would be like home for me, going over there, and yeah, it's just a really cool experience. Billy, again, does, as Nick said, does a lot for South Jersey baseball. I mean, there's a dude that really, really gets it, really cares, and it's just cool to be a part of his event and to see it grow.
100%. Now, tell us what we're looking at with Paulsboro this year, 2022. Some of your key returners. Let's hear what we're looking for out of this season.
A lot of expectations. I mean, we had a good year last year. Maybe we snuck up on some people. With that said, we go from the instead of being the hunters to the hunted, so to speak, a little bit, at least in our division. But definitely like where we're at. I mean, we lose one full-time player, so we bring back everybody else. Now that one guy that we lost, Antonio Chill, is going to be tough to replace. But we have a couple guys in house that we hope, can do the job. Our goals start with winning our division. We, obviously want to win our division. If we win our division, we'll be fortunate enough to make the diamond. So that would be a goal. And then, make a run in South Jersey and see where the chips fall. I mean, definitely like like my group. And I think that we have a chance to have a pretty special season. Guys, returning guys, not, like I said, we would bring back 8 guys, so or 8 starters. So, we have a lot of guys back. Some of them dudes that, the guys that'll be our spark plug, so to speak, like Downtown Arado, for instance. He got hurt at the end of last year, so that really hurt us when he got hurt. So we were happy to have him back, hopefully healthy and everything's good. Hunter Zubak Sr., can fly, just an all-around real good ball player, does a lot for us. Doug King, another guy that takes him down for us. He actually pitched against Shallock in the semis. Doug is a real good player. Luke Henkel. I mean, I can go on and on what our dudes. I mean, I'm really, really fired up for our group. And, like I said, hopefully we can go, but we're going to have to figure out we're the hunted now. So let's see if we can handle that. But It's cool. It's cool. A lot of good buzz around the school. Kids are happy.
Absolutely. Now, Nick, you've got a little bit tougher this year. You got one less Mercado to run into your lineup with Brock being down at UNC Asheville, a great program down in the Big South Conference. But still having Cole and Ty and a nice core group, I would imagine is still a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, no, we had a great first season last year. My first year at St. Joe's, we finished 17-6. We won 11 of our last 13. But yeah, no, it's nice to have Cole back. We were 11-2 when Cole played last year. He's just a difference maker in the field and with his stick. So we're thankful to have him back. We're going to miss Brock, and we're going to miss Gage Ambruster too. We had 2 really good seniors last year. We bring back just about everybody but those 2, but they're going to be tough to replace, both on the field and what they did leadership-wise for us. But yeah, definitely nice to have Cole and Ty Mercado back. Jamie Manuano, who's a D1 prospect. Nice to have him back. I actually think we're going to pitch a little bit better this year than we did last year. Last year, we had a bunch of sophomores that threw that really weren't pitchers. They, kind of play just the field for their travel teams, but, they got a lot better as the year went on. So I think we're going to lean on our pitching a little bit more this year. And we got a really tough division. Holy Spirit's our division down the Cape, Mainland, Ocean City. So we got a tough schedule. We're looking forward to it. And, hopefully it prepares us for postseason play this year. Hopefully we make a little bit deeper of a run in the postseason. But we're excited to get started.
Absolutely. Nick, John, thank you very much for taking the time here today. It was a pleasure talking to you both.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. After the break, we've got a stacked schedule, not quite as many games Sunday, but some really good matchups. John, Bill, and I will be back to go over those. You are watching the 2022 Thank You Classic Reveal Show on JBS.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Welcome back to our JBS Presents the Thank You Classic Tournament Reveals Show, the selection show. We've got an amazing lineup for Sunday. We've got 8 games to talk about, 3 different sites. We'll get right into it at the MAC. Started off with a great one, Delran versus Somerville. Tons of talent there. You got a South Jersey traditional power versus a great program in Somerville. Caravel Academy from Delaware coming in to take on Eastern at 4, and Eastern, one of their big guys is another generation nexter and Sammy Winsett, 2024 sophomore who's already verbal to Coastal. But I know it's the Delran Somerville game that got your attention, JT.
Yeah, I know it's eating Coach Banos alive after last year's loss to Delran. I know I speak to him a lot about it, and it ate him alive pretty much all year. And I think that's a game that people want to watch. It's a heated battle. Delran has both Brogan and Gene Greco back. I mean, they lose their catcher, Tyler Leroy. But Somerville returns Matty Wright and Colby Stefflug and Tyler Stone. That should be a really good game. I like that game a lot.
He got to it. It was such a stickler for him. He was the first team to get in, and he said, "I want to play Delran."
First
Oh,
out
yeah.
of 92. See, I like
I'm
that.
not going to
That's
tell
good.
you the words Banos said, but he wants that.
I was at that game. That game was a great game. It was very heated, but it was a good
Yeah.
heated baseball game.
So you're saying the words he wanted, I want Delran, were probably not the direct quote. There was probably some other words in there. Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, he was very clean about it. He said,
Okay.
"I want to play
Yeah.
Delran. That's all I want to play."
That's great.
Yeah, he's short and simple. You know, who do you want to play this year? You know, these are the teams that goes, we're playing Delran.
That's good. And two great programs too. Two traditional
Yeah.
great programs. So that's good to have them want to play each other. Milburn, Raritan versus Madison at 1. St. Mary's of Rutherford against Milburn at 4. Do we see Stephen Echevarria, the junior, going to Oregon, or possibly one of the top 2 players in the state in that one?
Here's the situation with that Milburn Echevarria. I don't know who they play on that Friday. Brian does a lot of crazy things at Milburn and likes to play head games. And on the other side, Dennis Holtz plays more head games. But that's a big day for St. Mary's because they return a lot of guys. But a lot of people in the state don't know Hudson Catholic, who made the Hudson County final, did well in the state tournament. 6 of their starters, including their ace pitcher and one of the best catchers in Hudson County, transferred to St. Mary's. So you had 6 starters to St. Mary's, and that's the first day they're eligible to play, 30 days or 12
Oh, wow.
or the 13th game. So
Okay.
that's going to be a real good game, St. Mary's versus Milburn. St. Mary's may be 6-5, but they may be the best 6-5 team at that time during the season going into that game because it's a different team on May 1st.
It's like 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll finish with the 4 games at Woodridge. It kind of reminds me different sport, but when I used to do the primetime shootout basketball and LeBron James and Carmelo Anthony and all those big names would come in, and you get guys from all over the country, and it could be quite a few scouts at these games. I have just a hunch, but we'll go with Passaic Tech at 10 o'clock versus St. Joe's and Metuchen. Possibility that St. Joe's is certainly one of the best teams, if not the best team in non-public A. Andrew Golden, Donovan Zach, Jimmy Mulvaney. We got Mark Giulussi. Can go on and on there, and I'm sure we can do that in a little bit. Middlesex versus Woodridge at 1. We've got a Bill Gore special at 4 o'clock with Bill Gore. Steve Farsia might be in attendance for that 4 o'clock game. Hunterdon Central versus Gloucester Catholic at 4 o'clock. Obviously, Hunterdon Central is traditionally one of the top public schools in the state. Kyle McCoy going to Maryland. We got Joey Bogart, Jeremy Wolf, 2 of the stars at GC, and a loaded sophomore and freshman class, and guys who should be just kind of working their way in by May 1st. And then the big one to finish off, you're talking about probably, this is like the starting lineup for both teams are all D1 guys and potential major league signings down the road. Don Bosco versus the Hun School at 7. So what do we see there, guys?
Well, the first game I talked to Rob Newtile and he told me, I'll probably throw Mule a little bit. He goes, I can't promise, but 10:30 with most scouts going to be in the area because the college games are at 1 o'clock. I thought, we talked, Bill and I, and 10:30 in the morning, have Nazir throw a little bit, maybe early. But listen, Passaic Tech, even if Mule doesn't throw, they got Gilligan brothers, Johnny Gilligan and and Jay Skilligan, that's going to be a really strong team. They're solid. And then we got St. Joe's, who Goldan will definitely throw. I've already talked to Murray, and he said he's throwing that day. So I think Goldan versus Mule or Gilligan, that's going to be a real good matchup with a lot of scouts there. Yeah. And we all know the 1 o'clock game, Middlesex state champs. They're always going to be good because they have a phenomenal coach, Coach Naz. And Woodridge might have as much talent as anyone in Group 1. They got their whole team back with two college pitchers and Division I pitcher, Trey Pack. And so that's going to be a pretty good ball game. And then 4 o'clock, we got the Bill Gore special. DC and Hunterton Central. Now, I don't know, talking to Kevin Kuzi, whether McCoy should pitch because Hunterton Central is going to be top 3 preseason, and GC is going to be top 6 preseason. So by May 1st, if both teams do what they're supposed to do, we could see a McCoy, Fernandez, McCoy, Tanner Nolan matchup. I think that would be real good. I was looking at a stat for GC. They averaged over 10 runs a game last year. I don't know if you know that, Bill. But they averaged that's over 10 runs a game. That's a strong team you got coming back. Wolf.
Yeah, we got a lot coming back for sure.
Yeah, I mean GC is going to be real good.
We're challenging these guys too. We're moving up into the Tri-County Royal. Our first 4 games are just alone for our season. We start with Clearview, St. Augustine, Kingsway, Williamstown, just to open up. So we have some. We're challenging ourselves, and obviously this game is a big challenge for us. And obviously some of the guys, not as many of our guys as theirs, are going to be familiar with our group, with this little rivalry that we have. But just so some people understand, when it comes down to Allegiant time, the old Brooklawn, White House, Flemington rivalry is it is usually a doozy.
It exists.
Yeah.
The rivalry is there.
We didn't play each other last year. It's okay.
282 runs in 26 games.
11
Pretty
a
good.
game.
Pretty good, Bill. Who's the hitting coach up there, Bill?
It's not me.
And then, go ahead.
No, and then obviously the 7 o'clock game.
The national rankings come out with Baseball America, and I'm the representative, and I put them in. And I got to talk to Pudge down in Virginia to see if Hun's eligible this year to be ranked, because they don't have any postgraduates this year. 0, no postgraduates. So I know IMG is always ranked. Why can't Hun? So preseason, Bosco is going to be number 1 in the NJ.com poll. But Hun's the best team, not only probably in New Jersey, but maybe the East Coast, and maybe got to be top 5, 10 in the country with that team coming back. I mean, they were 14-1. They lost their first game last year to LaSalle, a PA 7-6, and then ran off 15 in a row with Carson Applegate, who's going to Kentucky, versus Caden Dana probably that night, both Kentucky signees. And I'm not going to cut Bosco's pitching short. I mean, Clayton Poley just committed to Ryder. I mean, this is going to be some matchup, 7 o'clock. This is an incredible game. I asked the Hun coach, and of course, Rooney doesn't back away from anyone. Rooney wants to play the Yankees. He would play. He just, as long as my kids don't get hurt, I'll play anybody. Let's go. And I respect Rooney for that. He wants to play Hun no matter what it is, and that's going to be that's like last year's game with Mainland and Bosco. It's going to be it's going to be something.
Yeah.
On paper, it's the matchup of the year, and what a great way to finish an incredible weekend, 46 games in 3 days, but 8 games on Sunday. And we are here now with a couple of the outstanding senior players. In the Thank You Classic this year, we're represented by Joey Bogart, outstanding infielder from Gloucester Catholic, continuing the tradition of great players there, and Austin Sofran, the fantastic catcher at St. Augustine, who gets to catch one of the better pitching staffs in the state. Both of you guys have signed your college letters of intent within the last couple of weeks. It's been a busy month, but thanks for taking a couple minutes here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Joey, we'll start with you on question one for both of you guys. The Thank You Classic, it's more than just, a regular high school baseball game. There's obviously a bigger meaning to it too. So what does it mean to you to play in an event that thanks, the first responders for, helping keep us going during the COVID pandemic?
It's awesome to play it's almost like you're playing it's not like really about baseball at that point. It's like more like you're just playing to honor everyone that fought for us and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool about it. And then especially after last year, our game in the Thank You Classic was against Ocean City, and that was a crazy game. So I'm looking forward to it again.
Definitely. Austin, this is you guys played last year too, right?
Yeah, we played PVI last year. It was a good game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Getting the chance to play in something like this has got to have some extra meaning for you as well.
Yeah, it's definitely with COVID going on and all that. It's a good thank you to the first responders, and it means more than a playoff game and everything else. It matters, but in a lot different aspects, and it's more of a fun based type thing in my opinion.
For sure. Now, both of you guys play at two of the premier baseball programs in South Jersey and in New Jersey, and two of the top non-public programs in the state. Give you guys each a couple minutes to shout out whoever you want on your teams. Austin, we've seen on signing day that crazy picture of it seemed like half the school on your baseball team signing their letters. And that doesn't even include guys like Marco, who have another year to go still before he signs his. Tell us about what you've got at your team, and then Joey, tell us about what we the tradition continuing at Gloucester Catholic with you and Jeremy and a couple of the other guys. So we'll start with Austin first.
We definitely have a really deep pitching staff this year. We only lost Jackson Pedesco, who was pretty much our ace last year, but I think with a lot of the younger kids are starting to progress and their velos going up. So we're definitely going to look for a lot of the younger guys too, to make an impact this year. But for sure, we have Marco Lavari, who's going to be a really good guy on the mound this year, as well as in the infield, hopefully. And all of our seniors, we have a ton of guys. So we're going to be pretty deep with experience wise. So that's also good. Like last year, there was a lot of us younger people who didn't have as much varsity experience. And it definitely showed in the beginning of the season, but then we kind of got comfortable. And so I think we'll go in this year with a chip on our shoulder. We're going for the state championship. So that's what we're.
Yep, absolutely. And Joey, another program with the shot at winning the state title, but that's in the non-public B bracket. What do we got at GC this year?
I feel like we're more. We might be a little slept on this year because I feel like we got a lot of kids that no one really knows right now because they're young, never really played before. But I think after them seeing us play last year and stuff, they were around us all the time. So some of the sophomores, there's a few pretty good ones, like Jake Terranova is a kid that I like. That's pretty good. He works hard. He's a pretty good player. Him being around us all the time last year, hopefully that helped him. And then we have a few other kids that are older that didn't play last year just because we had Adam Gates and Jason Morgan playing. So hopefully, they'll step in. I know what they can do. So hopefully they produce on the field like Jason and Adam did and all. But our pitching's just pretty young.
but a lot of them still were able to pitch last year because our team was young last year too. So it's kind of like the same thing. But I don't know, I think we're definitely just as good as we were last year. We just keep reloading every year. It doesn't really matter who we lose or anything. So I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure. And I didn't mention your guys' matchups at the over the weekend. Joey, you guys, the Sunday game, part of a crazy quadruple header up at Woodridge. Gloucester Catholic playing in the 4:00 game at 100 against Hunterdon Central, always one of the top teams in New Jersey. Kyle McCoy, their big senior left-hander, going to Maryland. And right before a game that's probably going to be full of major league scouts with Don Bosco at Prep playing against the Hun School. And Austin, you guys are part of the kickoff to the weekend, Friday against Rancocas Valley. Another matchup against one of the top big schools in South Jersey, and certainly something great for St. Augustine to build to what we hope is getting that final piece of the puzzle, the final step in winning the South Jersey or the New Jersey non-public A title. Finish with this, both of you guys sign your letters of intent, give you a chance to talk about your school choice, how excited you are to be taking your games to the next level. Joey, in going to the Atlantic 10, going to a fantastic school and one of the great mid-majors in the region at URI, Rhode Island, and Austin in the PSAC against or at Shepherd University down in West Virginia, which we're not sure how they got into the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, but it is what it is. Great program down there, and give you a chance to talk to you about that and how excited you are to be playing in probably the best D2 conference in the country. So Joe, let's hear about your signing day and that excitement.
It was cool, especially because Jeremy's one of my best friends. So, I came to GC as a sophomore, transferred in, and he was one of them right away. We both knew we were both good at baseball and stuff, so we clicked right away. And since then, he's been one of my best friends. So it was cool that we got to sign together.
Yep. Jeremy going to UNC Greensboro, right?
Yeah, he's going to UNC Greensboro. And then besides that, I ever since probably sixth grade, I wanted to play Division I baseball. So it was cool to lock that in for good right now. So
for sure. And a great program and a great school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Austin, Shepherd University. What did you like out there other than that short fence in left field to try to hit some balls over? But great program, great competition every year.
No, I definitely the PSAC league is one of the leagues that I was looking at towards for my college search. And when I went down and saw it, Coach Matt and Coach Pat, two great guys, and the team is already really strong. And so I'm hoping to come in and make an impact. But it's in Shepherdstown, West Virginia, which is a little town, but it's great. So I'm just super excited to go down there.
Yeah, it's a neat experience for both of you guys. Certainly wish you the best. Before that, we got some hardware to go after this year in high school, both on teams with chances to do some great things. Thank you guys for taking some time out of your holiday weekend to join us.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. After the break, during break, we will scroll through again our matchups, our 46 games, our 92 teams, and then John Kroeger, Bill Gore, and I will close it out. It is the 2022 Thank You Classic Reveal Show. Back here on the 2022 Thank You Classic Tournament Selection Reveal Show. We are finishing up a great weekend of baseball, April 29th, April 30th, May 1st, all around the state of New Jersey with some amazing matchups, 46 matchups in total, 92 teams, talking 19 of the top 30 seniors in the state, according to Prep Baseball Report. Guys, we'll give you each one kind of parting thought here, kind of open mic. Say what you will here for this weekend, and Bill, we'll start with you.
Sure. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't believe how much it blew up from this past year to this year. I can't thank John and, the other coaches who are, so generous to donate their fields and their time to help, get through this weekend and, what the cause really means to, not only us as baseball people, but just people in general, what we've been dealing with through this whole time. And I've really just looking forward to some great baseball for a great cause.
JT, final thoughts.
Yeah, Bill did a phenomenal job last year. I tip my hat to this guy. I bust Bill a lot. Classiest guy I know. If I need to know something, Bill knows. If he needs to know something, he usually calls me. But his heart is for these kids. He's done a phenomenal job. I love Bill. Bill has done such a wonderful job. And I'll tell you what, he should be an athletic director. And if I was an AD, I would beg him to be my head baseball coach because the love he has, the great educator that he is, he's always looking to make things bigger for the kids. And God bless you, Bill, man. You're a phenomenal human being.
And this weekend coming up here statewide is the most amazing baseball weekend I've seen. New Jersey, the Thank You Classic 2022 for all of us here today, for John Kroeger, Bill Gore, for our coaches who appeared on the show, Dan Haverstick, John Marcucci, Coach Nick Core, Coach John Hopley from Pitman, for our players who joined us, Austin Sofran from St. Augustine, Joey Bogart from Gloucester Catholic. We thank you for watching and look forward to seeing you at the field.